We are down 20 pounds and counting, and that's from just the beginning of the year. What's this here? It's a weight vest. Why am I wearing a weight vest? Because I want some variety. I don't feel like doing as much incline today, but I want the added challenge and added calorie burning potential that comes from wearing a weight vest as well. And today, we're going to focus on cardio more than anything. Today's going to be a day where we focus on an activity day over everything else. But what I wanted to talk about today is why walking is so effective for weight loss, and how it has been at the basis, an integral part of my weight loss so far. And this goes into last year as well. When we look at the totality of this entire thing, we're looking at like 60 pounds down. And the only time in that entire chain from, it's probably been almost a full year now, we're closing in on, but in that time, only 1 month out of the entirety of it have I done jogging frequently. And that was only to challenge myself to see just how good I could get at running a mile, slowly reducing it, seeing how it affects weight loss, things like that. And yes, it did help to some degree, but it did not come without consequences. The first most important thing about walking and why it's so great is low impact. It is consistently always low impact. Even with sore legs, extremely sore legs even, you can still walk. So the fact that it's so low impact makes it extremely accessible, for one. Two, lessens your chances of injury. And three, as someone who's overweight, that might be you as well, this allows us to burn calories without putting the strain, excess strain, on the lower body, the ankles, the knees, the hips, all of that. Because trust me, when you start jogging, if you haven't been doing it before and you just rush right into it, you're probably going to get some knee pain. You might even get some foot pain. Some, what is it called? Plantar fascia. When your heel really hurts, you get that tendonitis of the heel of the foot. But that comes with jogging and running, because you're putting so much more weight and force into each step as opposed to this. And that's why the elliptical is even a step up from this to some degree, because you're in constant contact with the elliptical, so you're never truly getting quite the amount of force, the amount of shock on the joints. So being overweight, having to carry around the excess weight and forcing yourself to jog or run is going to put everything under extra strain. And I did notice that while I was jogging. Yes, it did help, but then I had to slow down, and I couldn't go every day like I wanted to. For the challenge, I had to start bringing it back, start adding in different things where I would walk and jog, or take a day off or two to recover. And I did, only because I've dealt with this in the past. I worked through a lot of the injuries as I felt them coming on, and that helped subside them pretty quickly. But my point here is walking is sustainable and approachable. Anyone can really do it, and you still get the added benefits of burning calories. I'm going to finish up here, and then we'll get back to it when we go out on a walk later and continue this conversation. See you guys then. We understand the first benefit of walking is primarily that it's low impact, low injury. Why is that important? Because if we do get injured, that's time that we're taking away from our goals, our weight loss, everything, activity. And injuries can take anywhere from, just a couple of weeks to 4 weeks, 6, 8. If you fracture or break anything, looking at 3 to 6 months of recovery. That's a lot of time to be stuck on the couch. So you want to be safe. You want to keep your grind going and not do anything to, sideline yourself. The next great benefit of walking is the sustainability of it. I can walk for an hour and a half. Can I jog for an hour and a half? Probably not, honestly. And afterwards, the recovery time that it's going to take to recover from an hour and a half walk, much, much quicker than the recovery it'll take for an hour and a half jog. Now, the calories may be less, but we can hit it more frequently, more reliably, reduce injury, and go for longer periods of time. So even though jogging does burn more calories, when we're looking at it from a time standpoint, again, I can jog for, 15 minutes, but I can walk for an hour and a half. And I guarantee you, hitting an hour and a half, I'm gonna burn more calories than I did in that 15-minute jog. With that being said, when we talk about longer forms of cardio, we actually start going into more of a specific trait of cardio. We talk about EPOC. EPOC, I always forget exactly what it stands for, but it's something like excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, something like that. And the whole point of that is while we're walking right here, right now, heart rate is elevated. Heart rate is elevated. We're not huffing and puffing, but breathing a little heavier. And so we actually put ourselves in a oxygen deprivation to some degree. Our body's trying to pump us full of oxygen, get it where it needs to go. So walking at a quicker pace, you're also bringing that up, especially if you're in zone 2, which I am closing in on right now. Heart rate's at 120, 20 minutes in, 120 calories. But EPOC, the magic thing about EPOC is that when you're done, you're still in that deprived state. You still have that imbalance. So your body is actually going to try bring you back to homeostasis, bring you back to balance. And so your body works overtime to get you to that oxygenated state. And you actually burn calories for a long period of time after your walk or your jog. So I'm not sure exactly what the numbers are on that. I'll throw some notes up here on the screen if that'll help. But just from a very general standpoint, if you can do this for a prolonged period of time at zone 2, you're going to put yourself in that EPOC sweet spot. And even when you're back home eating, watching something, reading, whatever it may be, you're still going to be burning a few extra elevated calories while your body tries to balance itself out. All right, let me finish up this walk. Almost done. Then we'll touch base again. All right. So far, we have low impact and sustainable, okay? So the third thing that makes walking so great, and the elliptical is a perfect way to get walking in if you so choose. It's also a great way to jog. Third benefit actually goes back to what we were talking about with zone 2 cardio. Zone 2 cardio takes place when your heart rate is kind of in between, I would say, 125, 128 to like 135, 140 almost. 140 really does start to push into zone 3. But my whole point here is that when you are in zone 2, a lot of smartwatches and fitness trackers track what zone you are in. When you're in zone 2, we've talked about it previously, that we're getting our most bang for buck when we talk about calorie burning potential, as well as burning the most calories from fat in that zone. Once we start to get into zone 3, 4, 5, we start to swap over to a lot more carbs, exponentially more and more. Okay, so the thing about utilizing those carbs for your fuel source is that you're actually going to increase and spike your hunger. So a lot of times, if you go on a good solid run, you really go crazy. You've reduced your glycogen stores, your carbohydrates in your body, everything like that. You're going to be hungry because you're craving that replenishment of those carbs. That doesn't quite happen to the same extent when you are walking or in zone 2. So that is another great reason why walking is something that I have chosen to do repeatedly with great success. Because yeah, we're trying to burn calories, but we don't want to just eat them right back because we're starving. That's not the point. I stay satiated. I stay full. I stay good when I'm walking, you know? Carry some water around with you. Make sure you're getting your water in. Tons of water, especially if you're walking and sweating. Or even if you're ellipticaling a little extra harder, something like this. Perfectly fine. Low impact. Just watch the heart rate. Don't let that heart rate get above, like, I'd say 138. But anything from that, like, 128 to 138 range, you should be pretty golden. But see, heart rate's already raising here. Looking good. I wonder what we're at. Let's check. 117. Not quite there yet. But once we get there, keep ourselves in that zone. Keep everything going good. I can choose to either pick up the pace or turn up the level. Make it a little more resistance. Completely up to you. Regardless, the goal is to get in that zone 2 as much as possible. Walking on flat ground might not quite get you to that zone 2, even if you pick up the pace. Just depends. Starting out, what you got to remember, when I started out, a brisk walk, absolutely enough to get me not huffing and puffing, but to raise it, get me breathing a little deeper, a little heavier. On the treadmill, now I can do 7 or 8 incline at a 3 speed. Starting out, we're talking 2.5, 2.7, and like 1, 2 on the incline. That's it. So start out slow, build into it. It's perfectly fine. As long as you're pushing yourself into the zone 2, maintaining yourself in it. And what you gotta do is stack these throughout the day. You know? Get your morning coffee brewing. While you're brewing your coffee, walk around the house. That simple. I can't even joke about it. It is literally that easy. In the office, get up, take an extra lap. Every hour on the hour. Or every end of the hour for 5 minutes. If you can get a decent pace going, 5 minutes should get you 500 steps. 10 minutes should get you 1,000 steps. If you can hit 10,000 steps in a day, I promise you'll start slowly dwindling down. The only thing is you gotta watch what you're eating to some degree. Because if you say, oh, I'm getting more activity in, I can splurge a little more, kind of defeats the purpose. So as long as you're eating evenly throughout that, while you're adding in the activity, you'll absolutely start the trend down. And that's all it takes to start. There's plenty of ways that you can make it more difficult for yourself if you start getting better and better. Picking up the pace, adding resistance, adding weight. If you're walking outside, you could always pick up the pace, like I said. Get a weight vest, ankle weights, carry some weights, grab a backpack, fill it with some books, whatever. I promise it does not take that much to raise the heart rate an extra 5 to 10 beats. The goal is not to stack on a ton of weight and walk around with a ton of weight, because then you're still putting a ton of strain and load on the knees. So the goal here is to work smart with it. Add a little bit, see how it affects you, go from there, reassess. Whew, okay, so I am nearly in zone 2 now. Heart rate will slowly continue to climb and climb and climb. You'll notice that as you get into this. The important thing is that I'm already at 41 calories, only in this time that I've been talking to you guys. That's pretty dang good. Whew.